This week in Scam School, we learn how to open padlocks from a national champion lockpicker. And I pretend to drive a car. This episode of Scam School brought to you by Domain.com. Welcome to the show that firmly believes you can pick your friends and you can pick your locks, but you should never pick your friends' locks. Scam School, the only show dedicated to social engineering at the bar and on the street. Hello, beautiful citizens of the internet. It's Brian Brushwood, and this week we are back at the Moontower Saloon, where we're gonna learn why no padlock is safe. Specifically, this one padlock is very unsafe. All right, here we go. Give me a toast. Yeah, boom. All right, back again with Jason Murphy, my co-host on Hacking the System, and new friend of the show, Jagor. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, not much.
All right, now tell me if I heard you correct, because the acoustics are a little bit weird. It sounded an awful lot like you admitted to being a national champion lockpicker.
I am. At the DEF CON Speed Lockpicking Championships back in DEF CON 17, I won first place and ended up getting a trip over to the Netherlands to compete internationally.
So nowadays you organize events for the Longhorn Lockpicking Club, right?
Absolutely.
We've been crossing paths forever, and I remember running into you at one of these events and just you blowing my mind with all this stuff, and I took photos. I'm like, I gotta remember this. This is the best stuff ever. And I went back later, I'm like, the hell are these pictures of? I don't understand any of this. So if you don't mind, I want to pick your brain, so to speak, and steal your awesome sauce.
Sure.
So where should we begin? What's the basics?
Let's do it. So my favorite trick is the Master 175 bypass. That's what I like to call it. It's actually an attack that'll work on any of these Master Lock 1.7 series locks. So if you look in the bottom here, you'll see the number stamped. It says 175, 177, anything in that range. This is going to get you into the lock in about 5 seconds or less without knowing the combination.
This is the kind of thing that you would find like on a storage facility. Like this is, how much do these?
Construction sites, really anywhere that's got multiple access, multiple people coming up there. This is a very common lock.
And this is normally how much for a lock, give or take?
Somewhere like $25, $20.
So yeah, no, a decent lock.
Yeah.
And you're saying you could get in 5 seconds. All right, show me and then explain it to me.
All right, I'm gonna grab a standard lockpick here. Show it first, and then I'll tell you why it works.
Shut your face! That's not preset to the...
Let's do it again. Examine the shackle, push up and down a little bit.
All right, can I spin all these? Okay, so it's a totally random
I don't even remember the combo.
I don't know the combo, but I've totally mixed it up. All right. My construction site is safe.
Ready?
Yeah. See, I made it hard. JR, you gotta be kidding me. All right, look, here, toast me first and then explain to me your wizard powers. Nicely done.
Here, my journey comes to an end, once and for all. Father,
I told you to never return to this place.
I have come for the domains. A wise man once told me that the .coms and .nets brought both credibility and trust.
Wahahaha! All lies. You will never have your own domain. All domains are lost to time now.
No, it looks like Domain.com actually has plenty of them. In fact, couldn't be easier.
The Code of Registrar will not be pleased to hear of this.
Do you have any final words, old man?
All I ever wanted for you, my son, was a slice of the dot pizza.
Very well then, dot pizza it shall be.
All right, Jagor, spill it. Why does this work? Before I learn how it works, I want to know why does this work?
All right, so there's a weakness in the way they manufactured this lock that they just didn't think of when they're putting together. There's a spring-loaded plate inside that sits up like this, and that's what holds the shackle closed. We are able to reach that spring-loaded plate with any thin piece of metal above one of the numbers.
Above any of the numbers?
Yeah, you should be able to reach it from any of the numbers. So first thing I'm gonna do is hold in the shackle to release pressure on the locking mechanism, just get it ready to open. And I'm gonna take a thin piece of metal. In my case, I'm just using a short hook pick.
But it could be, for example, on the Rogue's ring, we have the handcuff shim, something like that would work?
As long as it's thin enough to fit in this little gap here, it should work great.
And theoretically, this should work on all 4 of those gaps, but you're using the middle because if you're gonna push up a whole plate, from the middle is where it makes sense.
Yeah, so there are actually 4 little legs sticking out in between the numbers here, and we're grabbing one of those legs. So I'm gonna start at one angle, go stick it into the lock, and kind of sweep to the other side so that my hook is kind of catching that leg and pulling it out and down a little bit. Then you hold it there and let go of the shackle and see if it opens. In this case,
Now,
it did.
hold on. Let's pretend we don't have an awesomely small finger to reach up and touch stuff ourselves. Normally, that plate is pushed up by what?
So it's spring-loaded from something from the bottom, so it'll sit up like this towards the end. In
Okay.
fact, I've got here a cutaway. So you got our dials here, and then up on the top, you see those 5 little copper legs sticking out?
Oh, in between.
Yep.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
We're actually kind of scraping the top of those and pushing it down and outward a little bit with our sweeping force.
Well, so help me understand how this would normally work.
So this plate extends all the way to the other side, and there's a piece on the other side of the plate that digs into the shackle. So you see how you've got these gaps here on either side?
Right.
And they hook into a spring-loaded piece in here.
So that's the piece that we're hooking at?
Actually, that piece is connected to a plate inside.
Okay.
So the plate is sitting in this orientation right now. Our
So,
goal
okay,
is to like move it up.
So the plate is not, in my mind, when you said plate, I was picturing it perpendicular. It's not.
No,
it's
it's flat going down the length of the lock.
Got it. And so you're not so much pushing it up, you're pushing it open? Is that what it?
We're pushing it down. So we're pushing on one side, hoping that the other side goes up.
Okay.
And it goes up and it releases the shackle.
Got it. The best part is I don't actually have to understand it in order for this to work.
Pretty simple.
May I give it a try?
Yeah, sure.
Put the skinny thing in the thing, and then you pull it, and it opens.
Now, the sweeping motion, is there something I should be feeling for right now?
So let me demonstrate it one more time.
That was a very soft way of saying you're doing it wrong, Brian.
So we're not gonna go very far into the lock. I would say,
3/4 of a centimeter, maybe?
yeah, 1 centimeter or a little bit less. You're gonna start at one side, I'm gonna sweep to the other side, and you should feel it when you get towards this angle on the other side. You should feel yourself catching on something.
Okay.
If you push too hard, you're gonna go back off it on the other side. So you kind of want to go until you feel some resistance and then hold it there.
Okay, and
if
you
you're
have
on-
to hold that in place.
Yes.
And then release the tension. Okay.
And when you sweep the handle one direction, it has to be towards the direction where the lock opens.
We could sweep either direction.
Okay.
You want to catch something in between the two numbers, not necessarily on top of the number.
Right.
Got
Okay.
it. I see now. All right, here we go. You pinch it first.
Yep.
You get it about a centimeter in. There we go. Sweep it to the left. Hopefully I'll feel something catch.
And then let go on the shackle, see if it pops open.
No.
Maybe give it a little bit of a tug
There
to
we
make
go.
sure.
So again, half centimeter, a little more than half a cent. Oh, I felt something. Nope.
No, it's all about finding that sweet spot. Once you've got it once, it should be pretty easy to repeat. And if you don't have luck with one of the gaps, you can switch to another one.
Okay.
Maybe try one of the edge ones.
Oh, I felt it. I went past it.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm feeling the resistance as it's like wedging past something. Do I want to stop when
It's
I feel
kind of
that
riding over the top of that leg, and you want to kind of stop halfway over so that your pick is sitting on top of that leg and pushing down a little bit.
Got it. Let me try going the other way, just for
I
granted.
usually open locks with a hammer or a bolt cutter.
Oh! Oh!
Simple
All
as
right,
that.
see, it's freaking simple. Go for it. You feel that scraping resistance, and I guess once you get in that scrapey area, that means you're in between those two spots.
You're ever so slightly depressing the fingers that are sticking out in between there.
And it does help to try a variety of different directions, because I assume every lock is just a little bit different.
Yeah.
Now, let's say you encounter one of these that's like all dusted and encrusted. Do you spray it with like a WD-40, or is it better to use graphite?
I've never had that problem. It usually works on any lock, even if it's been outside for years. Same concept.
You got it faster than me. Well done. Here, toast this man. Well done.
Dude, thank you.
Also, remind me to change my locks. First and foremost, got to give a huge thanks to not only Jagor, but the Longhorn Lockpicking Club. Make sure to check them both out online. And of course, we should be best friends. I'm over at twitter.com/Schwood. There is no C in Schwood. Now, don't forget to join us next week, because we are going to introduce the world's first completely unpickable lock. Behold, the Eternity Lock. You just need a blowtorch to open it each time. Then maybe something to weld it back together. That's your problem.
It's like in 2001 when they first discovered how to use tools.
That's right.
That's me and you right now.
Standing in front of a monolith.
Yeah, Jagor, you're the monolith right now.
How about the baby picker? Did the nether folk school you? That's what they like to be called, I'm told.
He's gonna have to turn in his shirt. Go back to the. You're not going to the Netherlands, my friend.
Let's try this out.
So if you don't mind, I want to pick your brain, so to speak, and steal your awesome sauce.